Welcome back. Today's lesson we are going to be looking at converting fractions into percentages. But before we do that, let's get into a little bit of revision on how to convert decimals into percentages and percentages into decimals. So to convert a decimal into a percentage, we have to multiply by 100 and add the percent signs. Let's do that. We're going to multiply by 100 and add the percent sign. Now, if you remember the trick, all we have to do is move the decimal point 2 spots to the right because we're multiplying by 100. So the answer is going to be, this equals 34%. Now, to convert a percentage into a decimal, we need to remove the percentage and divide it by 100. So we're going to remove the percentage and divide by 100. Now, if you remember the other trick, this one we went two spaces to the right, so this one we're going to go 2 spaces to the left. 1, 2. So the answer is going to be 0.55. Oh, sorry about that. A black marker teleported back to where it belongs. So, to convert a fraction into a percentage, we do the exact same thing as when we converted a decimal into a percentage, but we've got a fraction, so we can't move the decimal point because we don't have a decimal point. So what we're going to do is when you are given a fraction, we're going to multiply by 100 still over 1 and then add the percent sign. Now, here we just have two fractions multiplied together. So what we can do is we can try to simplify this so that the bottom number, the denominator, just ends up being 1. So then we don't have to write it, and then we just get a nice percentage left over. But before we do that, we're going to have to find the common factors of 100 and 4, because once we split these numbers into their factor pairs, their times tables, we're then going to be able to cancel out some of the factors. We might be able to cancel out this 4, and maybe there's going to be a 4 and 100, but let's find out. So the common factors of 4, or the factor pairs, would be 2 times 2 and 4 times 1. Now, we can look for some factor pairs of 100. Now, 100 has a fair few factor pairs. 4 doesn't. So what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on these numbers here. So 100 could be 2 times 50. That uses a 2 because this has a 2 up here. We could use the 1, but it's not necessarily that helpful because we're looking for the highest number that's in both of them. Can 100 have a 4 in it? Well, it can, because 4 times 25. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change this 100 into 4 times 25, and we're going to change 4 into 4 times 1. Because 4 is the highest number that's in both sets of factor pairs. Let's rewrite this as the factor pairs. So 1 over 4 times 1 times 4 times 25 divided by 1. So now we have a 4 on the top and a 4 on the bottom. So they're going to be able to cancel each other out. So let's cancel the 4's because 4 divided by 4 is just 1. So now we're left with a 1 on the top, a 1 on the bottom, 25 on the top, and a 1 on the bottom. So we're left with 1 over 1 times 25 over 1. Now, 1 divided by 1 is just 1, and 25 divided by 1 is just 25. So this is, but however, we've forgotten our percent sign up here. Alright, so 1 divided by 1 is just 1, and 25 divided by 1 is just 25. So the answer is going to be 25%. That's how to convert a fraction into a percentage. So let's do a couple more examples on a different board. Alright, let's do this example. 1 over 20. The first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to multiply by 100 over 1 and add a percent sign. So let's do that. So this is equal to 1 over 20 times 100 over 1, and then we add a percent sign. Now, we are going to have to simplify this, so we need to find the common factors of 20 and the common factors of 100. So let's do this over on the side so that we don't mess up our working out. So the common factors of 20 and 100. Now I'm going to start with 20 because 20 is a smaller number and it'll have less common factor pairs. So we have 4 times 5. We also have 10 times 2. And we also have 20 times 1. Always remember about the 20 times 1 because that's the one that people most commonly forget about. So factor pairs of 100. Now we want to try to use these factor pairs. So as a 10, does 10 fit into 100? Well, it does. So we have 10 times 10. Now is there a higher number than 10 that fits into this? Does 20 fit into 100? Well, it does, because 20 times 5. So 20 fits into 100 5 times. Now, we can see that this here and this here, these two times tables have the highest common factor being 20. So now we're going to change our 20 and our 100 into these two times tables. Alright, so we've got 1 over 20 times 1 times 20 times 5 over 1, and then we got the percent sign. Now, all we do here is we just cancel out the 20s, and we're left with 1 over 1, which is just 1, and we're left with 5 over 1, which is just 5. So 1 times 5, just 5. So the answer is going to be 5%. That's all there is to it. So multiply by 100 over 1%, and then find the factor pairs of your numbers, and then try to cancel it out so you end up with something a lot nicer on the end. Let's do one more example where the top number, the numerator, isn't a 1. Do that on the board over here. Alright, here we have 4 over 25. Let's convert this into a percentage. The first thing we do is multiply by 100 over 1, and then add a percent sign. We're going to multiply by 100 over 1 and add a percent sign. Now, we've got some numbers, and we're going to have some common factors. So let's write out the common factors of 25 and the common factors of 100. Because the 25 is on the bottom and the 100 is on the top, so we're going to compare those two numbers. So, in 100 and in 25. Now, I'm going to pick the 25 first because it's a smaller number, so there's probably less factors. So 25 is 5 times 5, and 25 times 1. Always remember 25 times 1. Now, we've got 5 and we've got a 25 down here. So does 5 fit into 100? Well, we did that in the previous example. So we have 5 times 20. And can we fit 25 in? 25 times 4. So the highest common factor is this 25 and this 25. So we're going to put these two factor pairs into our equation. So let's rewrite 25 as 25 times 1, 4 on the top. And we're going to rewrite our 100 as 25 times 4 over 1 with the percent sign. So now our 25s will cancel out, and we're left with 4 over 1 times 4 over 1. Now when we're multiplying fractions, we multiply the tops together and the bottoms together. So this is just equal to 4 times 4, which is 16, and 1 times 1 is 1. Oh, we've forgotten the percentage sign. Make sure you keep that percent sign in. So the answer is just going to be 16%. So remember, when we are converting decimals or fractions into a percentage, we multiply by 100 and add a percent sign. So make sure you're working down the page because these are going to start to get quite long. And with any math question, you're more than welcome to put notes on the side that show and explain your working out and help you do your working out. However, we need to start working down the page so that we can see every line and every thought that goes through your head, so we can give you full marks on any assignment or any test. Hope this was helpful. Good luck with the questions. I'll see you in the next video.